Hello, my name is Ashley Thompson. I'm an instructional design graduate student at George Washington University, and this is my needs assessment and analysis review. I would like to share my experience conducting a needs assessment for volunteer onboarding for a nonprofit. Its mission is to make local and fresh produce more accessible throughout the Appalachian region within the state. Specifically, I will discuss the project background and how I executed the assessment, the lessons I've learned throughout the process, and how you can apply these lessons in the future. This project is centered on improving the volunteer onboarding for this organization to better inform and prepare volunteers for the types of work they'll be doing in partnership with the organization. Volunteer work with this nonprofit can be quite labor intensive, and there are strict standards put in place because of the handling and transport of food. Quality is quite important here. So now I want to talk a bit about my process. So I started with what I consider to be pre-assessment work. I began by actively trying to get a grasp on the business need and understand how the team within the organization views the goal of a potential intervention. Then I worked to understand the short or long-term business goals. After, I narrowed in on the performance, learning, and learner needs. This information was key to move forward in the process. I prepared interview protocols for my points of contact within the organization. The interviews were composed of questions within the aforementioned categories and complemented with the rationale for each question to ensure it's related to the project goal. Additionally, I identified probable data sources and data collection methods. Once the data collection is mostly completed, I began to piece together the current and desired performance state. Then, I started to examine the importance of the needs that surface in accordance to the organizational goals and restraints. After creating that list of needs and prioritizing them, I focused my efforts on identifying the problem and opportunity areas in the organization. Last, I would make recommendations on potential interventions to address the performance need. During the course of the needs assessment, I learned a few things along the way. First, the key to a successful data collection when utilizing interviews is to ensure that the purpose of the project is communicated clearly to the interviewee. This will help you in acquiring the information you need to conduct the analysis more easily. Second, I learned that it's okay to revisit data sources. After having a few interviews with the team, I had follow-up or clarifying questions. So I reached out to them to check if they would be available and their preferred method of communication. Last, I also realized during the first interview that there was some unintentional question redundancy, so be sure to look out for that. So I have a few tips for you so that you can apply these lessons learned into your own projects. First, write out a brief pitch for your project. It should explain the purpose of the project or assessment, how it links to the organizational goals, and how it relates to an individual's work. This will be helpful when approaching potential interview subjects. Second, don't be shy about following up with your interviewee should you need to ask further questions. Usually they are happy to meet again for a short time to help out. Last, for the question redundancy challenge, I needed to ask myself, do I need any other questions that focus on this area, or do I have it sufficiently covered by previous questions at other levels of depth? Second, is this question phrased in a way that elicits the same response like in previous questions? So those are some things that I had to kind of reflect on. And I would also, if possible, obtain feedback from a colleague just to see if they find the same kind of redundancies in my lines of questioning. So that's it. I hope that taking you along through the process and sharing the things I've learned will assist you in your future assessments and analysis. Thanks for watching.